There used to be a clear difference between the words man and woman in older languages. Nowadays the word man sometimes refers to the human being as such, but most of the time to the male human being. And the word woman has the word man in it, and supposedly means the wife of a man. So there's a clear man-made role put out there for the female human being. We get programmed to see each other as very different and many times even as enemies. But if you look at the human body purely nakedly, you will see that although there are subtle differences, and some maybe not so much, they don't okay, forget it. They it doesn't matter. These are differences that have been put out there by... This is part of creation. These differences are there simply for the beauty, to show the beauty, the difference between both of the sexes. And what people usually nowadays talk about is this conditioned layer. They're talking about the layer, not the human male or female by nature. And this is a huge deal. And this is what I'll end these series of sexual attraction, beauty with. To understand that is what should make it completely clear. And by now, I would hope that you have come to this conclusion yourself, that there's of course no such thing as a male and female soul, and that is what matters when it comes to the connection between the both. We get conditioned to wear different clothes, to act differently, to look for different jobs. Nothing to do with nature. Everything conditioned to grow, women grow longer hair than men because it's conditioning, although there are hormonal differences which makes it easier, so to say, for women, but whether this is natural or not, of course we can grow beards, but it's not so uncommon for women to grow beards. It's just that they shave it off, and hairs in different places, we get conditioned to shave things off just to make the difference between the both, or because of smells and such. Absolute nonsense. That is what makes a difference. It's conditioning. So we get brainwashed differently. Basically that's what has built up this wall that is not so easy to climb, to actually, when you look at the opposite sex, to see them as another human being, because it's conditioning, but you can climb it. One of the reasons, the biggest reasons nowadays that this is so strong is feminism. And of course there's all kinds of ideologies, forms of ideologies. So I'm not, and I cannot even talk about it generally, because it wouldn't make much sense, but based on my experience and the modern kind of feminism, or at least the people who promote it and who fund it, also worth looking into, they have a clear message put out. That's what I'm saying. And usually when females talk about the male and vice versa, of course, they're talking about this layer, which they then have come to confuse with the nature of the male and the female, which isn't that different at all, as I said. So this is how the people in power have come to make this difference between us, because of course there is no real difference in nature, so they had to condition everybody to be different and to create this difference between us, just like they do with everything, just to split the people apart. And nowadays many of the people who follow this ideology of feminism have become like racist nationalists, but even worse, because they split up half of the population, so to say, assuming that half are female, half are male, which some say are not, but that's quite irrelevant now. And what happens then is that it becomes the same in their mind. So in their mind, the layer is the male and the other layer is the female. Most of the time, at least. Maybe I shouldn't be using the word worse, because that would be implying like it's good and bad. It's just that it's different and it splits more people apart, which isn't good and bad. So feminism splits more people than nationalism and racism in a different way. Let's just say different. That's the best way to put it. And some may experience some trauma caused by a male, and they get pulled into this, just like a light-skinned guy could be beat up by a dark-skinned guy and get pulled into racism or nationalism simply because that's the answer they see to it. And of course this ideology, as I talked about, nationalism also was already there, so it's been made there to capture you. A man can love a woman and a woman can love a man without ever caring about his or her genitals, just like a man can love a man and a woman can love a woman, because it has nothing to do with the physicality. There is no sign on the vagina that says insert penis here, because there's no such thing as language by nature. And just like there isn't anything by the anus of the man that says insert penis here because of the so-called G-spot of the prostate, which may feel pleasurable. My point is that it's up to us to figure this out. Of course we can assume, and it's quite clear to understand that this is how we recreate them, both of the sexes, but everything beyond that is up to us to figure out, and there's nothing in nature that says that it should be or shouldn't be done that way. It's up to us. So pregnancy nowadays is a problem in the system because of these illusions. There are no problems, because by nature it would be a blessing to be pregnant. So we would have to create the circumstances for a woman to be able to get pregnant and not worry about it. For a man too, to have a child, because it should never be a problem. But it likely won't be that way because people don't want to get out and get back to nature. And therefore they take a lot of these pills and a lot of chemicals and many things. Male and female take a lot of chemicals, and so people argue about these vaccines also and such, that it causes homosexuality, and it's quite close to impossible for us to actually, because of so many chemicals, to realize what is being done and what are all the birth defects and such, what is actually going on, except if we were the ones who put these chemicals out there for a special purpose. What is clear is that homosexuality is quite promoted nowadays, and people get brainwashed to, just like male and female who are attracted to the opposite sex, also the ones who are attracted to the same sex. Lesbians, for example, get programmed to many, not quite a few, to cut their hair. That has nothing to do with the nature of it. That's because they get brainwashed into doing it, because to fit in or to present themselves that way. So that is quite clear, but anything beyond that is something else. Can only guess. As far as I'm concerned, we are at least capable of being bisexual. That's that.